Fred Vasseur repeats it clearly and without ambiguity. Ferrari's Formula One project for the 2026 season will be the definitive and crucial opportunity to bring the Scuderia back to the very top of the grid, where it has historically competed among the world's most elite and successful teams. The French team principal, who has been leading the prancing horse since 2023, sees the next major regulation change, featuring completely revised technical specifications, substantial updates to the power units, and significant aerodynamic revisions, as the ideal moment to design and assemble a truly championship-winning package. His focus is absolute and uncompromising. He consistently emphasizes that everyone must be perfectly aligned and committed to the same objective, underlining that achieving success in Formula One is only possible when all members of the team are fully synchronized and share the same long-term vision. The recently introduced suspension system on the SF25 has shown some promising and encouraging signs, at least when evaluated in theoretical simulations and initial testing. The new pull rod layout, however, still requires thorough examination and further fine-tuning, particularly considering that both races conducted with this technical update produced results that were somewhat misleading or inconclusive. At the Belgian Grand Prix, for example, the extremely unpredictable weather, intermittent heavy rain, and the unusual sprint race weekend format added layers of complexity that made it difficult to assess the suspension's true potential accurately. Meanwhile, during the Hungarian Grand Prix, the challenges faced by the Italian car number 16, driven by Charles Leclerc, prevented a final judgment on the pull rod suspension's overall effectiveness. Up until the midpoint of the race, however, when Charles Leclerc had secured pole position and was in a strong position to potentially win, the outlook for the SF25 was undeniably positive and promising. This occurred despite the fact that McLaren, even without the benefits of these specific technical updates, remained a formidable competitor and had the potential to outperform Charles Leclerc's Ferrari in the Hungaroring race. Regardless of these variables, it remains clear that additional time and meticulous work are required to optimize the pull rod suspension fully, ensuring maximum performance and reliability under all racing conditions. In the meantime, the 2025 Formula One Championship continues at a relentless pace. Many Grand Prix weekends remain to be contested, but it is becoming increasingly unlikely that teams will introduce major technical developments at this stage, as most are now fully focused on preparing for the upcoming 2026 regulations, which continue to evolve in both technical detail and strategic importance. For Ferrari, the focus remains twofold and highly strategic. Extract the absolute maximum performance from the SF25 during the remainder of the current season, while simultaneously preparing in a highly precise and methodical manner for the 2026 season, where the stated and explicit objective is singular and clear: to return Ferrari as world champions of the Constructors' and Drivers' Championships. The current 2025 season finds the team from Maranello occupying second place in the Formula One Constructors' Championship standings. They are ahead of both Red Bull Racing and Mercedes, which is undeniably a positive outcome, providing some reassurance to the team and its management. However, Ferrari remains significantly behind the current championship leader McLaren, who have displayed exceptional consistency and racecraft throughout the season. When evaluating the 2025 season in relation to Ferrari's publicly declared ambitions at the start of the year, where the team had indicated that winning at least one of the two world championships, either the drivers' or constructors' title, was a realistic target, the season so far cannot be fully classified as positive or fully successful. Overall, the season has produced more shadows than highlights for Ferrari. 5 podium finishes, 1 pole position in Hungary achieved by Charles Leclerc, and a sprint race victory in China secured by Lewis Hamilton. However, several race weekends were negatively affected or neutralized due to double disqualifications for infractions such as irregular car weight or excessive wear on the skid block. Consequently, the Grand Prix wins column for the SF25 remains, at this stage, frustratingly empty. Beyond the dominant McLaren team, which has consistently secured double victories, Red Bull has managed to take wins with Max Verstappen, and Mercedes has also claimed victories with George Russell. Fred Vasseur does not attempt to hide from the challenges and realities Ferrari faces, even though mistakes continue to occur. The French team principal is determined to secure at least a few race wins before the checkered flag falls in Abu Dhabi at the end of the season. This strong focus on immediate results, however, does not overshadow a crucial long-term understanding. The project to restore Ferrari to the pinnacle of Formula One requires patience, a systematic approach, and gradual development, much like the strategy employed during Ferrari's most successful eras in the sport's history, when victories were built methodically through careful planning, consistent team cohesion, and innovative technical design. Fred Vasseur's contract renewal, signed after the Belgian Grand Prix, should, at least in theory, have relieved some of the pressure within the team environment. Speculation regarding his future had generated significant uncertainty among team members and technical staff, but the path forward is now clear and well-defined. However, during the Hungarian Grand Prix, no groundbreaking new developments were visible. Instead, the Maranello team experienced the same recurring errors that prevented Charles Leclerc from securing victory, primarily due to a combination of tire pressure mismanagement and suboptimal handling of the power unit. For the team principal, internal cohesion is a non-negotiable and essential element of success. Everyone at Maranello must share the same vision, the same objectives, and must genuinely believe in them. Fred Vasseur is acutely aware of the history of previous leaders who successfully brought their teams to championship glory, Jean Todt at Ferrari and Christian Horner at Red Bull Racing. Nevertheless, the comparison is not entirely perfect or directly applicable. In any case, achieving full synergy takes time, including attracting the right personnel, integrating them effectively into the team, and fostering seamless technical and operational collaboration across every department. This brings us to one of the most critical and central issues. Despite Ferrari's storied history and prestige, very few top engineers and technical experts are willing to come to Maranello. Fully explaining this phenomenon would require at least 10 detailed articles, and no doubt one day we will undertake such an in-depth analysis, supported by facts and data. For now, the primary reasons can be summarized into two broad categories, which allow readers to form their own understanding and conclusions. These concerns primarily affect highly experienced engineers and technicians, professionals ready to make a tangible difference in Formula One, not promising youngsters or less proven personnel. The first reason concerns professional life itself, a combination of factors including the working environment, the language barrier, and the distinct methods and practices used within the Italian team. British engineers, for instance, are often hesitant to leave their comfort zones, which they associate with a familiar environment and an ingrained sense of superiority. Speaking Italian is generally not considered a priority for them, as they view it as an unnecessary effort. In their perspective, the language of Formula One will always be English. There are also differences in management and work approach within the team, which, while not inherently wrong, may seem unusual or inefficient to incoming personnel. Lewis Hamilton has publicly noted that some of these methodologies do not suit his preferences or are not perceived as fully effective. Observing operations in the Ferrari factory and on the track immediately highlights the contrasts in practices and approaches compared to other teams. Closely linked to this is the pervasive fear of making mistakes or taking a decision that could negatively impact one's professional reputation. Engineers and technicians may worry about entering a situation where a wrong choice could compromise their career, effectively lowering their chances of success in the highly competitive Formula One environment. Despite these concerns, Ferrari decided to renew Fred Vasseur's contract, signaling confidence in his leadership and long-term vision. Statements in press releases and interviews are often carefully crafted, sometimes resembling casual commentary designed to convey specific messages while avoiding others. For example, John Elkann's presence during the contract renewal was presented as a form of support for the team, although the reaction from some within Ferrari suggested it was unnecessary. Nonetheless, the perception of hierarchical distance and the tendency to obscure certain truths when problems arise has frustrated observers, contrasting sharply with the more transparent environments of other Formula One teams. These factors, including the weight of internal politics, the strict management of information, and the formalized processes within the team, may also deter potential candidates from considering positions at Ferrari's headquarters in Maranello. While a measure of privacy is understandable, constant image management and careful messaging can be off-putting to top talent. John Elkann's presence at the contract renewal, aimed at projecting calm and renewed confidence, may have been interpreted by some as a necessary facade, reflecting the scarcity of viable alternatives for critical leadership positions.